Dave Filoni, the man who co-created the Clone Wars with George Lucas, The Mandalorian with Jon Favreau, helped create The Bad Batch, Tales of Jedi, Book of Boba Fett, Resistance, as well as our favorite, Rebels, has given us a live version of his baby, Ahsoka, with a Rotten Tomato score of 87 with the critics and 71 with the audience.
Sometimes we talk a little bit longer if we have things we have gripes about.
May the force be with you. Welcome back to Tales of Two Bros. My name is Angel,
Adan,
where we give you a review at least once a week. Spoiler alert, currently streaming on Disney Plus is the first season of Star Wars, Ahsoka. Your initial thoughts?
first half, Rebels 2.0. Other than that, what did I watch?
How about this? Should it have been called Ahsoka or should it have been called Sabine?
Ooh, that's a fair point. Yeah, that's pretty darn accurate. And
I
then
mean-
Sabine with a question mark, like as in why.
Let's go over and give credit where credit is due. So again, like as I mentioned before, the series is written and created by George Lucas and Dave. Well, not George Lucas, but more Dave Filoni. But George Lucas is credited due to it's his world that he created.
It's his universe.
There's 8 episodes. You have here Rosario Dawson playing the lead, Ahsoka. You have David Tennant, Jessica, playing Huang, her cyborg counterpart. Heads up, I may say these names wrong, but Natasha Liu Bordizzo playing Sabine Wren. Mary Elizabeth Winston playing Hera Sadula, who is in real life married to Ewan McGregor.
Oh.
Ray Stevenson playing Balin Skull. Ivana Skalno, Shin Hati, aka Joan of Arc. She looked like Joan of Arc to me. You have Diana Lee Insanto playing Morgan Elsbeth. Again, she is the daughter of Daniel Insanto, best friends of Bruce Lee. So her name is in honor of her father and his best friend, Bruce Lee. Iman Esfandi as played Ezra Bridger. Hayden Christensen playing Anakin Skywalker again. You know what? I wish that Matt Lautner came in instead of Hayden. And he kind of did, but we'll go over that later. Nikin Robinson, First Officer Vic Hawkins. I think he was the one
with
who
the
was
gold
part
mask.
of the Resistance. Was I him?
Wait, I could be wrong.
Yeah, because I think it's the other guy. Because I think. Anyway, Even Witten, Jason Siddell, the son. Lars Mikkelsen, who played Grad Admiral Thrawn, whose brother is.
He was the father.
Right, but he was the father who created
the Death Star, yeah. Mads
Properly,
Mikkelsen.
so-
That's what we're talking about, yeah.
Genevieve O'Reilly playing Chancellor Mon Mothma, reprising her role that she's done in Andor and other Star Wars projects. Paul Su-Hung Lee, Captain Carson Diva, he again reprising his role he did in The Mandalorian. Wes Chatham, I think that was the right-hand man for Thrawn. He played Captain Enoch.
Yeah, that might be.
You have Paul Dornell, who played Morak. He was the Inquisitor.
Okay.
And you have other characters, but then you also have here Peter Jacobson. He was Min Weaver. He was the supervisor of that portrayed Ahsoka, and on
episode 2,
the port.
Yeah.
Yes. But you also have Clancy Brown reprising his role as Ryder Azadi, but then here is Governor Ryder. Tamura Morrison as Rex. Anthony Daniels reprising his role as C-3PO.
Got Claudia Black as Clotho, but that's only relevant to mostly Farscape fans.
Vinny Thomas, he reprised a role, not him, but he played the character Jai Kell. And here is Senator Jai Kell, but he was one of Ezra's close friends in Rebels. Like they were communicating back and forth while like Jai was maybe a mole in the Empire for Ezra and the crew.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And you have Dave Filoni as Chopper doing the voice.
That makes sense because one of my colleagues I work with, we talk about Star Wars all the time. He was actually upset because he's like, you can hear Chopper talk. I'm sorry,
a little more clear than the Rebels. A little more clear than Rebels. You couldn't really understand. Here you could.
Exactly. He's like, you can hear words, and he's like, that makes no sense. And like, I always ignored Chopper, so now I gotta listen
Mhm.
to it.
Well, no, on the show, you were able to understand. It's like, did you go through my things? I didn't go through your things. Yes, you did. In a sense, like that's the way he's saying it is the way you can hear it.
Mm,
All right, so let's go over the episodes because I thought the episode names were pretty smart in a way. I got a kick out of it, especially on the last one, the last episode, the title. But you have Master and Apprentice. How is the lore of Jedi and Sith? Toil and Trouble. That's the second one. Time to Fly. Fallen Jedi, which is a game, a
yep.
popular Jedi game, Star Wars game, excuse me. Shadow Warrior. I think that's maybe a game or a story book.
I mean,
Far,
they've
far
done a lot.
away.
Yeah.
That's what starts off the title, in a sense, in a galaxy far, far away
Yeah.
from every Star Wars direct to Skywalker movie. Dreams and Madness, and then the last one, the Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord, as a play on.
Chronicles of Narnia. Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe.
I thought that was cute. Kim thought that was cute too. Now, what's cool about here in this series, in a sense of Dave Filoni, through his creations of Rebels, Clone Wars, even Resistance, like stories that became legends, not canon, he made some characters canon. Case in point, Thrawn,
Absolutely.
the Inquisitors.
Mm-hmm.
They were all part of legends until he made them canon.
What about the
Ahsoka,
sisters?
the witches, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I think they're also part of legends. Ahsoka is his own creation.
Oh, because like he introduced her in Clone Wars.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's not part of legends. He made her, and people when she first came out did not like her. It's like, who is this? They don't care. It's like, I want Annie. I want Anakin. Who is this new character? Blah blah blah. Crying.
She
But
was a little
then,
bit annoying at first, though.
of course, she was annoying. Of course, but that's the part. Like what he did with Ahsoka is what Lucas did with Luke. When we meet Luke, he's kind of annoying. He's a spoiled brat. He wants to break away. He wants to be a rebel in his own thing, never in the moment. But then he gets into the journey, and as we see in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, how he grows and matures.
Mm-hmm.
Ahsoka, we saw that through Clone Wars, and then a little bit more in Rebels. We
Yeah.
see her grow,
Mm-hmm.
and people now she's a favorite. Comic-Con, Halloween, what have you. She's a favorite now. I do have some likes, and I have a lot of gripes.
I'm with you on that. I'll call it right now. This is one of the few times that I feel like the season felt too short. But I'll explain
Let's
why.
be fair. Let's be fair. In Rebels, there's 4 seasons, and right now, I'm not sure if you finished, but right now I'm rewatching
Uh-huh.
just to get re-familiar of the stories and like that. And I think what happened here is like some things are talked about in Ahsoka.
Mhm.
I don't remember, or I have to be re-familiar. I know a lot of people who never read or watched the series are lost with this because they were not into animation. They're like the live action of Star Wars. They're
Mm.
fans of Star Wars, but they're not deep fans. And there's deeper fans than us that read the books and the comics and that play the video games, like blah blah. We're fans, but we're somewhat limited in that sense.
It's fair.
But the series, 4 seasons, each episode about 22 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You have here 8 episodes, 45 to an hour per episode.
Yeah.
It could be longer. There are some things that could have been cut, and there's some things that could have been not shown yet.
Just the way it ended made it felt like that wasn't like a cliffhanger. It was like there's supposed to be more episodes, and it didn't feel as we led up to a moment that just kind of just happened, and it's not really like a tense moment. So I felt
Right.
like I could have used 4 more episodes just for closure.
For me, in that sense, this is what they should have done. Save Ezra, right? Get that. Focus on that instead of focusing so much on the threat of Thrawn.
Yeah.
Have Thrawn show up on the last 5 minutes of the last episode.
I would have been fine with that if they didn't tease Thrawn for all of the Ahsoka commercials
No,
and teasers.
I know. But the thing is, like, then the threat is real. And then we're like, oh, snap. And then we got to wait for the next season.
That would have been good.
There are so many obstacles already in place. How to find Ezra. You have Morgan trying to find Thrawn, stuff like that. Even though I find it
Mm.
weird that some people can't find certain things, but other people can find it like that.
That was another thing.
Uh,
Okay, so we'll talk about that in a moment
yeah,
because I know exactly what you mean. But Balin's skull, I was
awesome.
intrigued by him.
He was awesome.
He like because technically him and Shin, his apprentice, not really Sith when
They're
you
not
think
really
of it.
Sith, but not really Jedi either.
Yeah, they're
They're in
almost
between.
gray
Right. Even though the sabers or
or
lightsabers
red.
are no, they're orange.
They're orange. Oh,
Yeah.
that might
It
be
looks
my
red.
TV screen.
It looks a little red. No, yeah, they didn't do a good job of making it distinct because there are some times that looked like it was red. But yes, you notice that she had the tassel coming down like a Padawan does,
Yeah,
and he still followed the Jedi way. He's just a little different. They were Ronin. They were mercenaries
yeah. But
for
they had
hire.
their own mission at the same time.
Right. He wants to. I mean, if you notice at the end where he's standing on that statue, the arm of the statue
Hmm.
is the old man, and the daughter is light. His son is the dark.
Yes, they're living entities that represent the Force. I forget what
Right.
they're called. The Father,
Right.
the Son, and the Daughter.
Right. The Trinity.
The Trinity.
Right. You're right. He was great. Him and Thrawn for me were the best characters.
Lars Mikkelsen, correct me if I'm wrong, he was Thrawn in the Rebels.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he was. He
and
played the part.
one of the best villains in Star Wars for me, even
Mm-hmm.
from the animation to, and he
No.
does it fantastic. Sometimes his eyes seem to glow even redder. I know
Right.
that's just the graphics of it, but
Mm-hmm.
his intelligence is what makes him a threat.
I mean, I knew about Thrawn from the books.
Yeah, I remember you used to read the books.
The one thing that I felt that was lacking in animation and in the live is that Thrawn, he was such a master strategist and he wouldn't take any chances that he surrounded himself with these space cats. I don't really not know the exact name for them, but he
Hmm.
always surrounded them that these species would be force dampeners. So if anyone wanted to do like a mind trick on him, it's like that, they couldn't. Force push him, they couldn't.
I can believe that.
Yeah, they formed a barrier. So in the book and a comic book incarnation of the series of the books, they had him surrounded by cats, either like wrapped around his neck or shoulder, walking around him. So they always were by him.
This is a supernatural reference for the show.
Mhm.
I know I don't remember you watching the show, but the
Supernatural? No, I didn't watch
yeah,
that show.
for those who do, it's a public show.
Yeah, yeah.
The Winchesters will get a tattoo on themselves that would actually shield them from being tracked and certain things being done to them, both by like demons and angels. It's the same perspective from that. He's just using these creatures to do
Right.
that against force wielders.
Do you know also the child of Sandula? His name is Jason.
Hmm.
That's also a name, original name of Han and Leia's kids. They
Yes.
had three kids. Now, it wasn't Ben that they named here for the movies. In the books, in Legends, Leia and Han had twins, a boy and a girl,
Hmm.
and then they had another son. And one of the sons was called Jason. So Dave Filoni took that to name their son here.
Jason's a good name. It's a solid name.
No, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying he made that name canon.
Yeah.
I did like the fact a lot of the actors that did the voicing in the series did the live version. And I mentioned them earlier.
Yeah.
Daniel's reprising the role of 3PO, even though it was a small snippet, it was still cool. What were your best moments? Like I said, for me, it was the best characters was Balin and Thrawn, but I also liked the training sequence with Ahsoka and Sabine because it reminded me of Luke and Obi-Wan in the Millennium Falcon wearing the helmet, trusting the Force to see the sphere shoot at him. Here's a little different, but similar.
I actually enjoyed the scene where they're fighting in the woods on the planet and there's the masked,
The Red Guards.
not the red guards. The one that
The
has the double lightsaber that has the mask.
Oh, that's the Inquisitor. That's I can't remember his name was, but yeah,
When they
Inquisitor.
like slit him and the gas comes out. I thought he was cool.
What in the Dark Woods?
Yeah.
Okay, so when Sabine and Ahsoka split up.
Yeah, yeah.
Just after Harang told him,
Stick together.
oh, yeah, stick together. But they said, yeah, okay, we'll split up.
And I know you're not gonna like it, but when I didn't like bringing back Hayden Christensen at first, but the moment when they're redoing the Clone Wars and
Mm-hmm.
they're showing that he's talking to her in her young form,
Right.
and then he kicks her back into the time realm. I'm gonna call it.
Yeah, timer. Yeah, I forgot the name, but that's also from Rebels.
Yeah, and then he walks out the shadows and he puffs up and he goes Darth Vader for a moment. I'm like,
Oh, that was
okay,
cool.
that was really cool for me.
No, I mean, I don't like Hayden Christensen. I think he's a horrible actor, but people love him. Oh, he was the best. It's like, no, he was not the
Yeah,
best. You know who was the best? Matt Lautner, the voice actor of Anakin Skywalker from the Clone Wars. He is why we love or appreciate Anakin now. If those Clone Wars didn't come out, the love for Hayden would not be there.
Drew.
And the thing is, Hayden is playing Anakin as if it was Matt Lautner playing Anakin. The talking, the tempo, the rhythm is by copy of Matt Lautner because we saw Hayden in Obi-Wan.
He didn't
And
act
when
that
we
way.
saw, yeah, he acted like his old self, very flat, very bored.
In this
Boring.
version, he's better.
Yes, he is better because why? He is following Matt Lautner.
Hey, you know
That's
what? Take those notes, man. Run with them.
yeah. I mean, you're following the acting of someone else who did it after you.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty bad. That shows how bad you are.
You're not wrong in that. Like, I have no love lost for Hayden Christensen. I'll say this. I'm sure he's done some projects. I don't remember seeing anything that that captured my attention. But from what he said, he's not my cup of tea. You know,
he's done some movies prior and some after. But the thing is, people say, "Oh, but you should see this." Like, why? It's like, I mean, I saw some other projects he did. It was just as terrible. It's like, I mean, if you're acting the same exact way, not giving anything new, but then you're giving something new that you saw another person do. Hello. Before we get into our nitpicks or dislikes, I am going to say this series is entertaining. There is no doubt about it. It is entertaining. Going
when it
back
has the
into
high points, it's really good.
right, but there are a lot of flaws here. There are a lot of plot holes. But there's also inconsistencies.
Yeah.
And now, granted, the Thrawn thing is coming up or catching up to what it was done in the books, meaning that when the Empire was taken out, or not the Empire, but the second Death Star was taken out, Thrawn was away. They didn't say exactly why or where exactly he was, but he was away, and then he comes back, and then he becomes the new threat. The Rebel Alliance has to be reborn.
So that's what like Rebels and this has like made happen. So Rebels was the answer to why he was away, and Ahsoka is now the reason why he's back.
Correct. So they're catching up. Also, I have to say that the setting of this, it feels like a mixture of the series timing and the end of Rebels, where we see Sabine hair short again, right? She's looking at the mural and she's touching it, and she turns around and behind her is Ahsoka ready to go.
Well, yeah, they took like what 2 episodes to get to that moment, right? Or was it 3 episodes?
About 2 or 3, something like around there. But regardless, we see that in the end of Rebels.
Yeah, because there was a time jump at the end.
So we see that and we're hearing the words from Sabine of what's happened, like kind of like catching us up to speed. So what we're seeing in episode 1 and episode 2, and to that point where they're going to go find Ezra or get the map. So this happens between or before the end of Rebels then it catches us up to speed, because it's pretty much the same thing. She touches the mural, just like in the animation and live action. She turns around.
It's like shot for shot.
Right, except for in the animation, Ahsoka has a staff.
True.
Here, she doesn't.
I gotta give it credit for the fight scene at the end between Ahsoka and Morgan.
Yes, I agree with that. It was a good fight scene, much better than the first time they met. Even though I do love that fight scene with them, because it was reminiscent of Obi-Wan and Vader at the end of New Hope.
True.
Slow, steady, each strike can kill.
Mhm.
Here is more flashy, but I understand it's a magic sword, katana that she has, Morgan, but it's on fire, and she's putting her hand on the blade of the fire.
So I had me and my coworkers
Uh,
had jokes about that
uh,
because like I was talking with my friends and we're D&D guys. So great reference. We saw the D&D movie, right?
mhm.
And remember the Room of Thumberchod, right? When they're with the fat dragon and they meet the bald, I'm going to call them assassins that can't
Just
die.
tell me, because I'm not, don't break. I'm not going to remember right now.
They pull a sword out and the sword produces a green flame. That's a
Oh,
spell.
well, it was a spell to them too.
Exactly.
The
So
three witches made the spell.
when I was watching the episode and it did it, I just said, "Oh, they're pulling D&D. It's a green flame blade." The only thing we could think of is like, did they have like it stored like Green Lantern style in a pocket dimension, a Bhaskar sword that they just coat in
Maybe.
green flame, or I? It makes no sense. She got wicked tattoos by grabbing a Vulcan mind meld on her face.
Well, she was becoming one of them.
Yeah, but they really did the Vulcan mind meld thing. That was the
No,
same
I know.
gesture in the hands.
Yeah, I know. And you would think okay. Now, I did like her as Morgan. I thought she was a great character, but I was also in a sense of how we saw her in The Mandalorian and how we saw her in this series.
There is
It
some difference.
feels like two different people.
Yeah,
Plus, her posture was annoying the shit out of me. She was like this,
that's
you know.
true. Like in the
She was
Mandalorian, she
hunched.
was like
She was more
proper, like yeah,
posture.
like
Yeah, she was like standing tall and proud and as a leader of her among her people. Here, she's still a leader. She still has authority, but she was just like sir and like always hunched. And I just wanted to, if I could, to smack her back to straight it out. But when the Vulcan thing that you mentioned, you would think that should be in more agony because it's changing her DNA, if you will,
yeah.
and her skin's burning. She goes,
I mean, technically,
I was like,
they're her ancestors, so maybe there is something like it's bringing her back to her roots or something like that. But I
I
don't
guess
know.
so, but you would think it'd still be painful. Like your skin's being burnt.
They're all aliens, so
Yeah, true. But I think it was a waste to kill her.
yes,
To kill her off was not wise because she was an interesting character nonetheless.
one of the strongest characters. Like not
Yes.
just like attribute wise, but like what she brought to the table.
Right. Yeah. Because the thing is, like, she has magical powers. She knows about Thrawn and all that stuff, and could follow his teachings and make it her own. And she did that in the Mandalorian.
Yeah, or if they were going to kill off one of the witches, just kill off one of the other witches, and
And then
then
make she becomes part of it.
and then like bring her more into the fold of that, and that would have been like I would have been way more intrigued by that because I'm like
Mhm.
now I really want to see what her journey is going to be.
Right. Can we go into the faux pas?
Do we have enough time?
I don't know. Well, I'm going to say mine, and you can agree, disagree, and interrupt me and add your own.
Sure, yeah.
Sabine should have never been a force wielder.
Hell yeah. That's my question mark. Why were you chosen? Just because you held a lightsaber? That's not a qualifier.
Right. And the thing is, I understand that in Rebels, she was taught how to use the dark saber by Kanan, and I understand that the force is among every living
Everything.
thing.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if everyone is a force wielder, you don't make it special. The mystique of it is like, why bother then?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like if everyone is special, then no one is special.
Well, the concept is like because they make this argument like in other franchises of Star Wars. Yes, everything has the Force. There are those who are sensitive to the Force, and the Force has its own will. You know,
Right.
you can't impose your will on the Force and make yourself a wielder. That's the thing.
You have also like Donnie Yen. I am one with the Force. The Force is with me. I am one with the Force. The Force
Great
is with me.
example.
Yes.
He never technically was a Force wielder, but he was a
Right.
believer of the Force. That's a difference.
But yeah, it's a difference. And then it worked. Like it kind of worked for him in that last final moment for him.
True, but you
But at
never
this,
truly know that it was the Force or it was just pure luck.
true. Yes, that is very true. Here we have a girl who is struggling, who has never shown any inkling of being a force wielder, not even rebels, nothing
Mhm.
like that, can hardly move a lightsaber to pull to her. Then she knows how to force push Ezra
Mhm.
40 stories high and on a ship that's going away. It would have made more sense if she ran, jumped, and Ezra force pushed her.
Oh, absolutely.
But then
Or
she goes
she
there
just
and then
gives up
she,
on the whole Force thing and just goes back full Mandalorian. That was another thing. She is a Mandalorian through and
right,
through. Well, that was
right.
born, bred, and raised. And
Mm-hmm,
then a few years with Ahsoka, and then that gets forgotten. She leaves her helmet behind almost every chance she has.
mm-hmm.
When, like in Rebels, you almost never see her without her helmet unless it's like like it's downtime. And what happened to her backpack?
There you go. She could have had a jetpack, and then her and Ezra could have into the starship.
She could have slapped it on him. Same story.
Right. But I was like, but the thing, yeah, making her special, then it takes away from Ezra. It takes away from, yeah, I understand that Ezra excuse me, I know that Ezra gave her his lightsaber. But the thing is, we've seen it with, well, it's so stupid because I guess they're using the same thing with Finn, where Finn had the lightsaber, he fought Kylo, and then at the Rise of Skywalker, oh, I am force sensitive. But I was like, what?
Exactly.
No,
And
it just takes it
that's why I'm
just
saying
kills.
it's not a disease that you get just by touching a lightsaber. Now you're force sensitive. That's just not how that works.
Right. Now the next one, because we can go, I can just bash on that all day. But
Yeah.
Anakin should have never had a Padawan. He never reached the rank of master.
But isn't that more of an argument for Clone Wars?
Well, here you go. So in Clone Wars, in the development of Clone Wars, Dave and George were talking about it, and George said he should have a Padawan. Dave said, but he can't have a Padawan. George said he has a Padawan.
Because I said so.
Dave said, okay. I mean, it's on Disney Plus. You can see it that Filoni is explaining how Ahsoka came about and how Anakin got a Padawan. The thing is, if you're not ranked master, you should not have a Padawan.
Didn't they write it in Clone Wars that like it was because of his level of power and skill, but not because of his rank that they decided to give him a Padawan?
That's how they fixed it. The thing is, like the problem with George, and we see here with Dave that Dave followed the teaching of his master because Dave was the apprentice while George was his master
Yeah.
in the sense of writing in this Star Wars lore. And we've seen it throughout the series of Star Wars that George will just forget what he created and then write anew. What he
I believe that.
established in the original trilogy, he said, screw that. I'm going to do the prequels and then forget what over there, what I had already established 20 years ago. And I'm not going to make it here. It was
That
like,
happens
you
to a
got to
lot
be
of
freaking
famous like writers and creators, like the creator of Game of Thrones. I don't know why
uh-huh.
I'm drawing a blank on his name. Apparently, he doesn't remember half the things he's written on his books. He goes to like his wiki for his fans
Mm-hmm.
and to find out the history of his characters.
Right. Well, I can understand that because it's been several years for that. But the thing is, George had seven, no, 10 main characters, if you will, in the original trilogy, if you will, then just changes it and then changes it. And then he it's not hard to find because he built an empire on these characters, on this universe, this galaxy. How are you going to forget? You can't. I mean, I understand the author of Game of Thrones, yes, but I mean, it's always in George's face. He lives where he lives is like Star Wars memorabilia and all that shit.
That's true.
So, and we see that here that there's like simple, lazy explanations, or just ignore it. Don't pay attention to it. That's
Okay,
fine.
like how they found Ezra. Ah, ha, ha.
So you're gonna tell me that Thrawn
Couldn't find him for
is
years.
and couldn't find him for years.
Yes,
Sabine shows up mere
finds him
hours later.
with the dog that they gave him.
Right, but I'm saying mere hours later.
Mm-hmm.
Oh hi. I was like,
Mhm.
are you effing kidding me?
It was so convenient that people I talked to actually told me there's a rumor online that they feel Ezra has turned and is actually working with Ron.
Possibly.
Uh,
It's
because when you
not
think about it, like when he shows up, he doesn't want the lightsaber back.
because it's hers now. He gifted to her.
No, but
So
even
he's like,
like instantly, he's like, hold on to it. And he's like, I don't need it. That's what he tells her before he gives it to her. Like when they're getting attacked, and
yeah, but I
then,
mean,
well, hear me
I'm
out.
okay with that.
Of course, the how she found him so fast with the animal that was supplied to her, and then of course during the escape, how is it he hid away the entire time and then steals like the stormtrooper outfit and then steals the ship without being noticed?
Or have the right codes.
Exactly.
You need codes that, to leave or to board, clearance codes.
So there's actually a fan theory right now that Ezra is actually not the Ezra we know. He's turned.
And I'm okay with that if that's shown in this next season.
Yeah, if they
That's
do
the
that in the next
case.
season, but
I'm fine with that. If that's not the case, then I'm like, that is some lazy ass writing.
Mhm.
And it also goes in relation to also that they go to a planet. This is all in Star Wars lore, all Star Wars lore.
Mhm.
That regardless who's arriving and what have you, they always know where to go. They always know where to go to find the
It's
people.
true.
I was like, wait a minute, you go on a whole damn planet, like freaking. I have people give the wrong delivery. They give my packages to the next house or the across the street. They can't find my own house, but you have these people who can find a group of people throughout the whole planet,
This is how
and
good the Force
they're
is. It's like Google Tracker.
yeah, I get, but I'm just saying, it's like, yeah, Ahsoka shows up and she looks down and she sees Ezra and Sabine right there. I was like,
Mhm.
how the hell? Or with Morgan coming in and finding Thrawn, I'm like, what? But then again, it's the same thing with all the Star Wars. You go to Tatooine, right there. You go to where's the other one for the sequels? The others, desert planet. They found Rey, and I was like, what? And just
Never
mere
yet.
walking distance. Jafar. I want to say Jafar, but it's not Jafar.
That's
Jakku.
Aladdin.
Jakku. Yeah. Jakku. That's the planet. Mere convenience, like how you find a whole planet you pinpoint in mere minutes. I'm also mad at Haran saying that he knew Canaan.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. You know why?
Because
Because that's
Kanan,
not his real name.
yeah.
Canaan is his pseudonym name. Canaan is named after Order 66 was given. So how the
Mhm.
hell does Haran know that who Canaan is when the actual name is Caleb Doom? We saw him in Rebels, not Rebels, excuse me, the Bad Batch in the first episode. We saw his master get gunned down, and then he's running.
Mhm.
And he's actually running from the Bad Batch because the Bad Batch followed them, not following orders. They're just trying to figure out what's going on, and that was him. So how does Harang know? Can someone tell me?
I have no
No.
idea.
Uh, uh, uh.
Maybe from like Hera and Ahsoka just saying that it's the name he went by, but it would make no sense that he would still refer to the new name versus the old name.
Right. He would say not Canaan. He would say Caleb
Mm-hmm.
because that's who he knew. Also, which is funny that apparently every galaxy and every planet, I guess, has their own version of Ewoks, Jawas, and Sand People.
That's true. That they were pretty much that.
The hamster crab, the hermit crabs,
Ewoks.
Ewoks, Jawas. They were a mixture
Yeah,
of the two.
they're a combine, and then they clearly was sand people.
The one in red armor, the ones wearing legit samurai armor.
Sand people.
I guess he can call them grass people because they're on the grass.
Okay, so side note, I have to ask this question. At the end, when Shin flashes her lightsaber at the would-be Ewok Jawas,
No. Was it them? No, it was the sand people.
was she saying that at the sand people?
The red guards? Yeah.
Okay. Why?
She's
Because
calling as a leader. She's taking them as she's I guess
is that what you were
becoming,
interpreting?
that's what I interpret, that she's gonna be the leader of them. She's gonna take
Okay.
I'm guessing because I don't know.
Yeah, because I was like, she clearly didn't go back with Balin's skull, and
Right.
and I was
Oh,
like,
he pushed her to the side.
he did, but Master and
He says
Apprentice
like
doesn't necessarily mean you give up.
well, no, but he said your path and my path are no longer on the same.
Mm-hmm.
We have separated because she is more about recognition and dominance, where he is now more still in the Jedi way,
He's looking for more
understanding.
balance.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, it made us really like you would think they will get their gear to fight this one person who is lit up the sword, almost like that's a threat, if you will. My lit up my sword. I'm about to fight.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. We'll see if there's a season 2. We'll see season 2. Now, also, I find this again all Star Wars lore. How is every planet habitable?
I have no
Meaning
idea.
the air is breathable. You can eat and not get sick.
Which is a good point
Obviously,
because like they're going to a planet where like literal star whales go to die, and
they went to another galaxy.
yeah,
I mean, it's like me or us going to California from Florida and all that smog and pollution, or China with all that pollution there. We were like, it will take time to adjust. But these people are like, hey, what's going on? Not even no helmets, nothing like,
don't even test the air.
t-
At least they
no.
tested they tested
Well,
the air
sometimes
in
they do.
Mandalorian on Mandalore, but then
Right.
they're like, oh, it's still good.
Right. But still, yeah, just again, every planet is habitable. No one wears a scuba gear, kind of whatever you call it, for the oxygen to breathe and whatever. No, of
Yeah.
course not. The only time they did that similar or to that is in Empire Strikes Back, where Han, Leia, Chewie,
Oh, the moon.
C-3PO, and that moon with the worm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like the look of the new stormtroopers.
Well, it was a combination of things.
They remind me of Kylo's mask.
Yes. Yes, yes. I was going to say that, and say that's Kim because they have the gold thing. It's a Japanese art to save or put together pottery, what have you, and they use like gold to help mend the pieces together. But I like the tape,
Yeah.
like a bandage tape.
It's like it's like hodgepodge to fix the armor and stuff like that. Although the one captain's mask, like where it was just a pure face covered with it, I was like, that's actually really cool. And his voice was augmented. I was like,
but it reminded me of like Gladiator.
yes, it was a very much like a Roman gladiator kind of face look. I wanted more. I felt like there should have been more out of the stormtroopers in general, rather than like the witch's spell.
I mean, I think that was kind of cool.
It is kind of cool.
That was kind of cool.
But I felt like the stormtroopers themselves should have brought more to the table before they activated that spell. I'm just saying.
Well, they're still lazy shots or lousy shots.
Exactly. You think if they work for Thrawn, he picked like the best of the best kind of situation.
They'll be accurate, yeah. Because I mean,
and they survived on a
Ahsoka.
desolate planet, which didn't seem that bad.
No. Oh, okay. Here we go. So Thrawn has a hard on to get back home because of the Empire.
Fair, yeah.
If you're so in love with the Empire and what it represents and what it stands for, why be so focused on going back home where there's others there? And if you want to spread the principles of the Empire, stay in that galaxy, start to dominate planet by planet, start putting a foot down to have control in the name of the Empire, in the name of the Emperor.
In that argument, like we don't know the full details because it's an unknown galaxy for one, so we don't know the distance between the planets that are habitable, and then judging by the looks of their stormtroopers and equipments, the resources to maintain their technologies and just their resources in general did not seem that good.
But you don't think that they can recruit and get more stormtroopers, and maybe if not have the same armor, they could look at the red sand people. They had armor. How did they get that?
You're not wrong. I'm thinking they should have recruited some of the red. They would have been better than the turtles.
Hermit crabs. That's what I'm going to call them. That's what it reminded me of. There were turtles too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if I was a representation of the Empire and I stand by everything it represents and pushes, I would start spreading throughout planet to another, because they had the technology to see where things are. They knew what was going on in that planet.
They didn't find Ezra.
That's true. But I'm just saying, it's pretty weak.
They had the technology, they had the witches, and they still couldn't find one man.
True. But the thing is, like, it just shows me how weak Thrawn actually is. because he actually needs numbers or he feels safer with others.
Yeah.
Where he couldn't.
He needs support.
Right. Where he didn't feel like, I don't know. I would think that he would just, especially all that time there, because let's say Ezra has a full beard, hair is long compared to what we saw him last. I would say at least 5 years they were there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me that they couldn't find another planet. They were loading something. What were they loading into the ship from the?
Some people think
console?
it's like more of the night troopers, but I don't know.
If that's the case, then you have your army there,
Yeah.
even more so. I know we're talking for a long time because it's a lot of information.
You said it in the same video that we did Expendables. Sometimes we talk a little bit longer if we have things we have gripes about.
True, but it also is like 8 hours, about 8 hours of information there.
What's another nitpick of yours?
Oh, apparently Filoni loves Lord of the Rings.
And D&D.
Ahsoka the Gray becomes Ahsoka the White.
Yeah.
Are we serious here? She changes her outfit all white now after her rebirth. All she needed was a staff and say, "Thou shalt not pass."
She almost did when she got onto the ship in space.
I mean, I hated that too.
Did it not give you the Gandalf and Balrog vibe? She's like, I'm standing my ground.
So the ship is moving, correct? I know it's a little dead, but the ship is moving.
I want to say she had like gravity boots, didn't she?
Okay, but still, if the ship is moving or floating, what have you, in a sense, in one direction, because in space, even if your like engines cut off, you still go, maybe not in the same velocity, but you're still going that direction.
You would go in the same velocity. Unless something imposes a new force to you, you would continue in the same motion at the same speed.
Right. So she flips from the wing to the, I'm going to call it the base because I don't know the proper terminology for ships, or to the hull, whatever. She flips and lands in the same vicinity. If she let go of the ship will still go and she would not be in the same exact momentum. I could be wrong.
In this case, she would be in the same momentum. If it was like where there's a gravitational force applying a different speed and force to her, and like there was air resistance, then that would be the case. Because there are videos where like you throw a ball out of a moving car, and the ball will fall backward.
We're in space where there's no gravity.
Exactly. So if she jumps off, if anything, she'll go up this way.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So how is she landing back down? The gravity boots are not that strong. I'm sorry.
And she doesn't look like she's doing anything force-wise. I would be more inclined to believe if she jumped off and then got caught up in like a small orbit around the ship, because the more mass you have in space can actually generate an orbit around it, and things will float around.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you can have debris float around a giant spaceship, in theory. I'm reaching.
And plus, we're not scientists.
No, I watch a lot of sci-fi.
Okay. That doesn't make you a scientist either, though.
It doesn't. But, not at all.
All right. Now, yes, I am also annoyed that Hayden Christensen was here. I don't think he was needed. I don't think his
he got some good moments.
Yeah, he wasn't needed. Some good moments, but wasn't needed. It was not needed. Like, it would have been cool, just enough hologram training.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been good enough.
I really don't think he was needed at the very last episode, too.
Oh, the Space Ghost? Or the Force Ghost? Excuse me?
At the very end?
No. You know who that should have been? Kanan.
That would have been dope. It would
have been super dope if Kanan showed up instead, because the thing is,
he was there for Sabine.
Yes, he was the first teacher to Sabine. Granted, it was about how to use the Darksaber, how to connect to it, how to use it, but it's still being a force lesson.
Yeah, he's teaching ways of the Force in order to master the Darksaber.
Correct.
Yeah,
and there's a connection there. She is part of the crew. I'm upset that Zeb didn't show up. We saw him do a cameo in Mandalorian, but we don't see a cameo I hear at all.
Zeb would be one of the first ones to show up if he heard Ezra was coming back.
Yes.
It's like if Herrick called up Zeb and said, "We found him," Zeb would be like, "I'm on my way."
Yeah, but they just pushed it off like he's recruiting. I was like, okay. And also, I'm sorry, that the relationship between Sabine and Ezra is not brother and sister. He said that because in Rebels he had a crush on her.
Oh, absolutely.
He
He
was he was trying
100% had a crush on her.
he he was trying to get in those pants.
Every time he
And
had a chance, he was trying to get that armor off.
you would not be looking for someone. It was just family in the sense of friends because they weren't blood, but they were family, but they weren't
Hmm.
blood family. And the way she was looking at his hologram and the way she saw him on the reunion is much deeper than that.
At
It is
least,
far deeper than that.
at least the way they made
She
it look
had
like from on the show, like it was like opposite, like perspectives. It like seemed like she had a thing for him here, and when
yes.
they reunite, he didn't. Like somehow
Well,
he friend zoned her.
well, of course, because how many times are you gonna, you know, get pushed in the, down or taken,
I would
you
have
know,
accepted that more if he came back with one of the
hermit crabs? Ew,
hermit crabs and be like, "This is my wife. We're married.
ew, ew.
I'm no longer a
No,
Jedi. You keep the lightsaber."
I live the life of the hermit.
Yeah.
Um, but you know what I'm
It
saying?
would
It's
have
like
made sense though.
a man has needs.
He found them.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like, yes, especially where she touches the mural and is Ezra, she's touching the face,
Yeah.
is become more for her in a sense of that's my man. And but then they reunite and she's like, oh hey, family. I was like, no, no, no. But yes, the Force Ghost, going back to that. Kanan should have been there. It would have been cool to see Prince Jr. It would have been cool to see
Yeah.
Prince Jr. as Kanan, eyes burnt, wearing the ponytail.
Well, when Kanan died in that final scene, his eyes healed.
No, he couldn't see.
No, in the fire,
He couldn't see.
his eyes healed up though.
I
When
have
he
to
looked
re-see
at
it.
when he looked, he turned, pushed Hera back onto the on the
Uh-huh.
ship,
The ship,
and he
the
looked
coast,
at her. His eyes went like from like the milky white to like
the pupils.
yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that. I'm not to that point yet
You're not there yet.
because I'm watching.
It's a lot of episodes to catch up on.
Yeah, but I'm watching that. That's like one of my favorite scenes.
It is
That's like
such a good scene.
one of my scenes. That one and the training with the dark saber. Like,
Yeah,
there's so many good scenes, good episodes in the Rebels series. So many good ones, and we'll do a review on that once
catch up.
I catch up.
That's a journey.
Yes, and like before, I know we're going long on this, but
True.
there's a lot of great shows out right now. The Continental, they have that's finished. I just finished that. We got a review on because I saw the first.
Did that just finish?
episode.
I thought it was on like it's got like a couple more weeks.
No, it's 3 episodes.
Oh, I definitely gotta finish that then.
Yeah.
They just released Gen V.
Yes.
They're finishing up Wheel of Time season 2.
Yes.
And Loki
So many
season 2 is
so many
starting up literally the day
Yes.
we're recording this. So
Oh, it started already?
just started today, man.
I thought it was October 5th.
Today's the 5th.
Oh shit.
Episode 1 just released it an hour and a half ago.
Oh my god, you're right. Holy crap.
Yes. So October and September, a hell of a month for the year. So
And with my editing skills, it's going to take a little while.
Happy New Year.
Yes. Okay, so going back to the Rotten Tomatoes score, 87% by the critics, 71 by the audience. Where are you?
I'm going to lean more towards the audience. I'm going to probably put it at as an overall show, I'm going to put it at a 70. The show is very hodgepodge, like we talked about. There's good moments. A lot of people brought some good stuff to their performances.
Yes.
And we didn't even talk about Rosario Dawson, to be honest. And it's supposed to be her show.
We can.
Yeah.
Because I think she did a terrible performance.
Yeah. Well, but that's the thing. Like, is it really her show? Like you said at the beginning, this is Sabine.
Right.
And if it's not your show, are you going to bring the 100% to your game?
No, but the thing is like Ahsoka, even though she was serious, she was lighthearted as well. She didn't take things so serious. Even with in Rebels, she wasn't as deep or solemn as we saw her. Now, granted, in the last 2 episodes, we saw the Ahsoka that we are familiar with come out more smiling, more be in the moment, not to be so down on yourself. Maybe it's because of the rebirth. that she
Maybe.
became Ahsoka the White.
Granted, she was a little bit more dark in the Mandalorian episode too.
True, but she had a reason to be because she
Yeah.
was trying to get information and stuff like that. But she was also dark in the Book of Boba Fett when she was at visiting Luke Skywalker.
Not that dark. I mean, she was
But
joking. Yeah, I guess.
was she joking? Was she joking?
She was like,
I don't know. It was like,
you remind me of your father," kind of situation.
but I mean, it was kind of how like serious how Luke was in Return of the Jedi, how like serious and like I'm a Jedi, so I have to be here. Even though she's not a Jedi,
No,
she
and she
says she's
says
not a
it.
Jedi.
Yeah, she's training him.
Right. She's training Sabine, but she's training Sabine in the ways of the Force, but she doesn't recognize herself as a Jedi. She gave up that a long time ago. But again, in the last 2 episodes, she became more of the Ahsoka that we are familiar with, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Damn, we're going way long. That
We haven't gone this long in a hot minute, but we've been there.
I know, but still, we're going long. So again, Thrawn couldn't find Ezra, right?
We're never going to let this horse die.
But also Morgan could not find the map,
Yep.
even though she knew where it was.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't find the map.
Mm-hmm.
And then to get to that basement or whatever you want to call it, Ahsoka did a move that she did in the Clone Wars, as well as what was done in Underworld. In Underworld was a gun shooting, making a circle, a perfect circle, and then falls into the next floor. Ahsoka does it with her lightsabers to the next floor, and then she does the thing, finds the map because Morgan told her where it was, but Morgan couldn't find it. But then she did.
Yeah.
And you would think Morgan could find it since she is an ancestor of the witches, has the magic ability, but she couldn't find it. Okay, sure.
Well, she never
Then
displayed magic until the sisters touched her face.
No, she had, when she opened the map and all that stuff, she was doing, creating a spell.
Oh, that's true. I just thought that was like a code.
But no, she didn't touch it. She was doing like she was praying or saying a chant.
Oh, that's fair.
So but then she comes out and it became Jurassic Park. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Tell the world. Go ahead.
I'll tell you because you don't know. So after she finds the map, she comes out. There's a droid standing right there, not moving. Where do we see that from in Jurassic Park? The Velociraptors. One is the bait, and then surrounding the target, the
clever girl.
Right. All the droids come out. So yes, that one droid just stood there and just get the focus, and then you see the other droids surrounding Ahsoka. Cool scene, but I was like, all right.
I forgot about that scene.
But I also have to say, Ezra's fighting with the Force is how it should be because he's moving out of the way. And again, you have a lot of these stormtroopers, instead of shooting from a distance, they'll run up to the person and as if...
I call it the John Wick fight scene. It's like everybody has like an assault rifle or pistol, and they want to get within 6 feet of John Wick in order to shoot the man. And I'm like,
well, here is like 3 feet.
Exactly.
So let me walk up literally to you before I set myself to shoot. You know, and then, you know, granted, like Ezra was moving really good, and then force pushing, and then boom, force pushing. It's like, yeah, if you have the power, like I understand this is all beautiful with the lightsabers, and is very.
It's an elegant weapon.
Yeah, but damn, this force, like they could have forced the stormtroopers when they're on the cliff.
Well,
not the cliff, the tower.
That reminds me of the game you used to play all the time was Force Unleashed.
Yes.
Just using the lightsaber was like secondary. I remember watching that game being played, and like every other force ability there was besides the lightsaber was just legit devastating. Force push, crush, throw.
Right.
You know, and if you were doing it, the lightning.
Yeah. They could have done here in the sense of throw the lightsaber. Hit everyone, pop, 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 like in the scene of Wanted, with the bullet, use that as lightsaber. Or you're on the tower. Why are you bothering deflecting bullets when you could just force push all the stormtroopers off?
Yeah, that was another thing that I was thinking of. I was like, I can't make the jump. Like you can grab things. I've seen characters just like pull themselves to things like like the reverse scorpion maneuver. You can't do that with the Force. Like he's like, I won't make the jump. He's like, just
And Ezra was a badass. He got really strong in the Force.
Yes.
So, I mean, did he train or did he keep up to his skills?
I have no idea.
That's hard to say. But you would think that would have been easier. Like he could have pulled Sabine towards him.
Mhm.
The thing is, like, we never see, like, and again, I'm going back with all the Star Wars mythology and the movies, that we see an ability once and then we hardly see it again. The most popular Force ability that we see are the mind tricks and the Force pushes, but we don't
Yeah.
see, after we see Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon speed run, we never see it again.
True.
When we see Kylo Ren freeze people and freeze
Blaster fire.
blaster fire, freeze it. We don't see it again in the other films. Do we see the mind pull? We saw that once or twice in the same movie, but then it was done again. It was done in actually Clone Wars. I
Yeah.
think Darth Maul did it. I think Darth
Maybe.
Maul did it. But the thing is, we don't see the abilities, and you have also an ability that was not done much, but we saw with Ahsoka that she can touch a certain object and then seeing it being played out again.
Yeah, I like the
Because she found out, like,
T-1000 and Terminator touching a computer and just understanding things.
right, so like she knew what happened, what Sabine did, and why the map is destroyed, all that stuff. So I mean, but we don't see that again. We probably won't see it again in season 2. We haven't seen it in other films.
Yep.
I
Force
loved
healing.
Ezra's Force healing. It is done. It was done in the books. It was done in the clones, either Clone Wars or the Clone Wars.
Was it in Clone Wars?
They showed not the 3D one, the short episodic one, the 2D one.
Cartoon Network ones.
Right, but one of the Jedi's were learning it,
Mm.
and yeah, they were learning. They were in the, like, a Jedi library, whatever, but they were learning it. So it was possible. So anyway, how long is this? How long of our review is so far before I edit?
115.
Fuck.
So I already said my rating. What's your rating?
I give it a solid 75.
Okay, so I'm a little bit lower than you, but
Yeah, solid
we're right in the
75.
same ballpark.
Yeah, we're in the same. We're in the 70s. I mean, yes, it is worth the watch. I would see it again because of Thrawn and Balin.
Mm-hmm.
I will see those two. Oh, Qui-Gon should get his refund because apparently no one else can die. They get stabbed straight through by a lightsaber.
You know what?
You don't have to be a Jedi now. You can just be a regular human. You don't have to be one with the Force.
So you ever see those? You ever see those YouTube videos where there's a guy who's doing deep fake, the facial deep fake? What's it called? Deep fake of him as Obi-Wan watching Star Wars. Right. They were watching Ahsoka, and Qui-Gon was like, "Oh, she's done. And like, that's a wrap. Nice to see you, Sabine." And Obi-Wan's like, "Oh, I don't know about that." And they do like, "What? She's still alive?" And they didn't like, there's not even cybernetics in it. What happened? What is going on?
So there goes again with the inconsistencies.
Absolutely.
So the inconsistencies with these writers. Again, you had that with Obi-Wan. You had this with George Lucas's prequels, and you have it also with the sequel trilogy, like that. Now, where do you rate this, or where do you place this among the series that we have that came out? To me, Andor.
We're talking about the live action ones, not the animations.
We can do live action. Animation, Rebels,
absolutely
the top, and this could have been right there too. But and I said it before on social media. Dave Filoni, I believe, has writer fatigue.
It's possible. I mean, he's put out
He's been nonstop. He's been nonstop directing, writing, supervising.
And
I think he has a writer block. Yeah. But Andor live action, Andor is the best. Tied with Mandalorian. In the sense of first seasons. Mandalorian was awesome. Andor, first season, awesome. That's it. Book of Boba Fett, trash. Ahsoka, better than Book of Boba Fett. Obi-Wan, better than Book of Boba Fett.
It's fair.
But not better than Ahsoka.
Yeah, I'll go with you on that one. Yeah.
So if like say for first seasons, Mando and Andor tied for first, Ahsoka is right underneath.
You know what? I might even inch Andor above Mando
I don't
because
mind that. I would not be mad at that.
yeah, Mando is good. And first season just good to put on the TV, and you don't even have to focus 100% of the time. It's good moments. Andor is like you want to get swept up in the story.
Well, you have to pay attention.
Exactly.
That one you have to pay attention.
And
You can't.
that's such a good feeling when you can get swept up in the story like that.
Yeah, you got to pay attention.
But yeah,
But
I'll go with that.
But Ahsoka, you don't have to pay attention.
No, you don't.
You don't. All right, guys, that is our sensational review of Star Wars Ahsoka, currently streaming on Disney Plus. Have you seen it? What was your favorite moment? Do you feel that Dave Filoni does have writer fatigue? Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you have a movie or show you would like us to review, you can email us at talesoftvbros@gmail.com or leave a comment below. Until next time, we'll be the next time. I'm Angel.
I'm Adan.
Love you, bro.
Love you too.
We have spoken.
Wrong series.